She guides me back to my bedroom, her left arm wound about my waist to steady me. I let her walk to my bedside and I let her sit me down. She pulls back my covers in one deft, smooth movement, a bit like a magician, and obediently I lie on my back. There, that's much better. You should be safe now, Ayumu, so don't fret. I'm gonna keep a really close eye on you, see? I'm not gonna let anybody hurt you, not while I'm around. Not even you? Nagi giggles to herself, then bends, her long hair cascading over her slender shoulders. It looks like she's reaching for something, but what? I watch on, my interest piqued. There isn't much else to watch in my small bedroom, which has been scoured clean, as Nagi retrieves a mysterious object from the ground. It's woolen, whatever it is, and comprises of numerous pastels, baby blues and pale pinks. Its shape is strange and indeterminate, immutable almost. I can't quite place what it's supposed to be. In Nagi's fingers, she's holding a pair of spiked implements which, if their ends weren't so blunt, might be good ways to torture somebody. I wonder what they could be. Hey Nagi, what's that? Oh, this? I just thought I'd do some knitting. You know, it's one of my hobbies. Do I know that? I'm not sure, but I probably should. I hope this isn't bothering you, Ayumu. Oh no, it's fine. I don't mind, please, feel free. That's what I like to hear. I'll do some knitting then, while you lie down. Do you want to have a nap? Not just yet. I'm not tired. Are you sure? You look a little drowsy to me, but if you're not ready to nod off just yet, I suppose I can turn the TV on. I don't know what's airing right now, but that should be more interesting than staring at the walls or watching me knit. I think watching Nagi knit is pretty interesting myself. She's awfully dexterous with her fingers. Fingers with her fingers with? I think it's fingers which are long and slender, almost like needles themselves. What? Plus one unease. A shiver runs up my spine and unnerved I glance away from Nagi. It's not like Nagi's fingers are much different from my own. Even if her skin is paler, they don't look quite right. But they don't look quite right. They remind me of a doll's. Do they have too many joints? That's ridiculous though, surely. Ayumu, is something wrong? Oh no, I'm fine. Let's see what's on TV, shall we? That sounds like a plan to me. Nagi retrieves a remote from my bedside table, then switches the TV on. My TV is an old boxy set, more than a dozen years out of the date, and the picture flickers quite a lot. That's a very old TV. I never really bothered watching it myself because the shaking picture made me feel seasick. I think I can endure that right now, though. I feel so sick already, I doubt this old TV would make things much worse. Nagi flips through the channels idly, past the news which she deems to be too depressing, and some documentary about lions on Serengeti, which she says is too violent, until she settles on some kids' cartoon. It seems to be a magical girl show based on designs of the characters. The main cast is comprised of elementary school-age girls with wide eyes and big bright hair that reminds me of plasticine. It's fairly cute, I guess. It's inoffensive, a bit like Nagi's homemade rice porridge. Kind of an insult. Anyway, I'm not really into kiddie stuff like this, but I can deal with it. You know, ironically, magical girl shows, despite the demographic initially being kids, also evolved to also include basically men, like grown men, are actually sometimes one of the main demographics of a magical girl show. But anyway. Is this alright, Ayumu? It's fine, I guess. They should be able to distract from my sickness, if nothing else. I wish the screen wasn't flickering so much, though. Good, let's leave this on then. I'm pretty fond of the series, actually. You are? Yeah, who doesn't love magical girls? I was really into this stuff when I was a kid. I wanted to be a magical warrior myself one day. I wanted to save the whole world with the power of love. I even wrote down my career survey back in first grade. I think my teacher was a bit amused, but what did they expect? That's what all little girls want to be. So how'd that go? Were you able to make your dream come true? Well, none of my wishes on shooting stars have come true just yet. Still haven't met my own fairy and haven't been given a transformation item. Well, all you have to do, you gotta just make a contract with a strange, white creature that has, big ears and red eyes, and anyway. I did figure, however, that I don't need to save the whole world. That would be quite the undertaking. My love might be boundless, but my energy isn't. I can't be everywhere at once. Clack, 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 goes Nagi's knitting needles. But I can be by your side. That's all I want, really. Then you're gonna be my magical girl? My Maho Shoujo? Well, why not? Sounds like a worthy challenge, especially since you're so bad looking after yourself. Hey, was that really necessary? All's fair in love and war, Ayumu. And anyway, you know I'm right. You were in a really bad state before you met me. I worry what might have happened to you if we'd not started dating. Clack, clack, clack. But we don't need to worry about that because I am here. I'll always be here. That's what magical girls do. I thought you were my nurse, though. There's nothing stopping me from being a magical nurse. I guess not, no. I wonder what that would look like. Me too. I might have to sketch an idea up. You could draw? You know I can draw, silly. Who do you think said you all that fan are of Eris? Good point. I can remember that at least. The art that Nagiko sent me of her renditions of Crimson Fantalia's main characters was very precious to me. It made quite the impression. Nobody else had ever drawn me art of my own characters, not before nor after. I was so elated when I received those drawings I couldn't stop smiling. I was on cloud 9 for a whole day. If anybody had seen me, they probably would have thought I looked creepy, and maybe I did. I didn't care though. That was the first time I ever felt so happy. -5 on ease. This warm feeling floods my stomach once more as contented, I look back at the television set. I read that weird. This episode looks to be an important one. The main character, or the main magical girl, whose name is, of all things, Pumpkin, is facing off against what I assume is the final boss. Is this the season finale? What an episode for me to start on. Pumpkin stares at her rival, and with narrowed eyes, she says, I can't let this stand. I have to save. I won't give up her dreams. The colors on the screen are a little distorted, and so is Pumpkin's voice, but I think I understand what's going on, more or less. I continue to watch the show, and Nagi continues to knit. The regular clack, clack, clack of her needles acts as a backdrop of the action on screen. Quite a soothing sound. It merges with the sounds of my own breathing. The irregular static of the television set. My eyelids begin to droop. I think I must have begun at some point to drift off. But I'm swiftly snapped back into consciousness by a series of harsh electronic beeps. That sounds familiar. Is that my phone? Somebody must be trying to call me. I clean forgot? Oh well. There's a few typos here and there, I feel like, but I clean forgot? Is that correct? I don't know. That feels weird. I don't think that's correct. I never heard a sentence like that. I think it's like, I must have forgot? Or I clean forgot about my phone. I mean, I guess you could say that. Like, I clean, ignoring this, I clean forgot about my phone. I guess you could say. Anyway, I clean forgot when I was looking for a clock earlier about my phone. Its existence has slipped my mind. But now I can hear my phone ringing. However, now that I can feel its vibrating against my upper thigh, I'm surprised it could have evaded my attention for so long. Why didn't I think to check it earlier? I reach into my pocket, my fingers curl up my phone, but before I can retrieve it, Nagi looks at me and says, Ignore that. Huh? I look at Nagi, nonplussed. What's the matter? That infernal buzzing is the matter. Don't bother your phone, Ayumu. I doubt it'll be anything important. Just hand it over to me. There's a good boy. You're too sick to take any calls right now. But nothing. Nagi's face distorts, but it only lasts an instant. She inhales. Then she says very calmly, I'm saying this for your own good, Ayumu. Don't look at me like that. I would never ever do anything to hurt you. She sounds pretty insistent about this, but then again, so does the mystery caller, who still hasn't hung up. My phone is still buzzing in my pocket. I can feel it juddering against the fingers of my right hand, which are pressed against it. It would be easy to take my phone out of my pocket and answer it, but it would be equally easy to hand my phone over to Nagi, and she seems so worked up about this for some reason, which is escaping me, that I don't want to upset her. She is doing this for my own sake after all. What should I do? Well, I'm going to save the game, so I'm going to do. Sure. You know, let's totally trust Nagi. She hasn't given us any reason to distrust her totally. At all. You know? Let's totally give her our phone. Here you go. Here's my phone. Totally. This is like totally not the wrong thing to do at all. I'm still curious about who's trying to call me, but I don't want to risk upsetting Nagi. She's been doing her best to take care of me, like she said. Ignoring her wishes now wouldn't be a very nice way to repay her. And I reason with myself, I can always call this person back later, if they want to tell me something important. For the moment, however, I'd probably be better off without any external distractions. I'm too tired to deal with the world. Oh, sure thing. I fished my phone out of my pocket, at long last, and handed to Nagi without complaint, without pausing to check even who bothered calling in the first place. Not like I need to know the identity of my mysterious caller right now. Not like I need to know the identity of my mysterious caller right this instant. It can wait. I'm too tired in any case to worry about it too much. I'm not really in the mood to talk. Thank you, Ayumu. I knew you'd do the right thing. You're a very sensible boy. A giggling Nagi accepts my phone from me and switches it off. She, like me, doesn't bother to look at who the caller is. Maybe it doesn't matter. Am I thinking about this too much? I'll look after this for you, so you don't need to think about it. Nagi pockets my phone for herself, then resumes her position in the chair at my bedside, shifting among the cushions to make herself more comfortable. Now, are you going to go back to sleep? You look a little peaky. I feel pretty peaky. I yawn. So tired. I thought you were drifting off earlier, yeah? It's a shame that somebody chose now of all times to call you. People can be so inconsiderate. Don't they know that you're sick? Well, now that you mention it, I frown. Probably not, no. I haven't spoken to anybody all day other than you, unless you told them for me. I did, yes. I called up a university on your behalf, Ayumu, and your friends. I thought we didn't have friends. They should all know that you're down for the count. You won't get any trouble. Right, that's a relief. I'm glad that Nagi's so sensible. If I was on my own, I probably wouldn't think to call my university to tell them about my absence. I just refuse to show up. It would be the first time I missed out on my lectures. In fact, come to think of it, when was the last time I went to a lecture? Okay, I guess we're university age. I'm trying to remember, like when you're like, I don't know, I feel like when I was in university, if you had to like miss a class or whatever, nobody cares, you know? Like the professor or like the whoever teaching assistant isn't gonna care that much. Unless, I don't know, unless you miss like a lot of classes in a row, then maybe you should tell them, right? So you don't like flunk the class because of attendance, but otherwise, if you miss like a class or two, it doesn't really matter. They don't really care that much. I try to remember, but a sharp pain pierces my skull. It feels like I've been skewered. White hot pain flashes momentarily behind my eyelids and everything blurs. I'm so overcome. I have to squeeze my eyelids shut. I breathe in slowly, then breathe out. I do this 10 times until the pain subsides. When I open my eyes at long last, I see Nagi. Her face is creased with worry, and she's frowning. Oh dear. It looks like you're still very poor. Or, well, yes, I am very poor, but you're still doing very poorly, I guess is what she means. You don't need some more ibuprofen, do you? That wouldn't be too bad, actually. All right, I'll go get some for you, and a glass of water too. That should help you wash it down. I won't be a minute. Nagi gets to her feet, abandoning her strange, shapeless thing on the floor, and bustles off to the kitchen. It's like a strange way to describe her knitting. I don't tell her where I keep my medicine or where I keep my cups, but I don't suppose I need to. I'm sure she's stopped by my place numerous times in the past, being my girlfriend and everything, and totally. She'll be fine on her own. Some time passes, and I don't know how much, which I spend staring at the ceiling, picking out shapes in the paint. The seconds trickle by, and then... Alright, Nurse Nagi is back at the scene. Nagi approaches me, her footsteps soft and muffled like a cat, in her indoor slippers. In one hand, she's holding a glass of water, and in the other, she has a couple of white, featureless tablets. Nagi drops the tablets in my waiting palm, and I pop them into my mouth. They taste a little chalky, but they don't have any particular flavor otherwise. They're blandly inoffensive. I wash these tablets down with a glass of water Nagi brought to me, and lie down back in the bed. I feel bone tired now. There's nothing I want more than to sleep. You poor thing. Gently, very gently, Nagi presses her palm against my forehead, which feels fevered and gives my hair a ruffle. You really have been through the wars, Ayumu. Don't worry though, I'm not going anywhere. You can count on me. The sweet cadences of Nagi's voice, coupled with the soothing touch of her hand, is a comfort. It soothes the residual aches inside my head, the aches that the ibuprofen couldn't quite manage to iron out. Nagi's palm is nice and cool. I guess that's because she was carrying that glass of cold water from her kitchen. It helps disperse the feverish haze that settled about me. Her hand continues to stroke me over and over, as a mother might a small child. I feel like I've regressed. I'm becoming younger, feebler, needier. I don't want to become too dependent on her. There. But this really does feel good. With half-lidded eyes, I look up at my girlfriend, my goddess, and mumble, You promise you won't leave me? I promise. Why would I? I do love you, you know. Oh, there goes all my unease. That will never change. Nagi. I exhale. I can still feel her head against my... feel her head against my head? I thought she was using her hand before, but anyway. My skin is flush with sweat. I thought it was very pleasant to touch, but Nagi doesn't draw away from me. She said she would stay with me. She promised. And I like to think that I can at least believe her. I let my eyelids fall shut, soothed by Nagi's words of undying eternal affection. And quickly, sleep rushes forward to me. Sleep so deep, and I'm pulled under within seconds. A faint voice reaches me through the darkened abyss. Oh please, Ayumu. But it doesn't sound like Nagi's. I guess it can't be that important then. I tune it out. I ignore everything, and I let myself sink further still, all the way to the bottom of a dark, dense swamp. Well, that's another ending where we go back to sleep and, don't worry about it. Our girlfriend Nagi will be with us forever. Ever and ever. Alright, so let's go back over here. Let's see if this affects anything. But this is when she was kind of praising our work. Where she was like washing dishes and you were talking about our web novel, I guess. And, instead of saying, that we're embarrassed by her comments, let's question her. There's some weird, there's a bit of a disconnect between this Nagi and the Nagi Co that, would comment on our web novels. So, would Nagiko really say all that? Nagiko used to praise Crimson Fantasia a lot, but her praise wasn't wholly devoid of constructive criticism. Yeah, that's what I was saying. She would always tell me when certain story elements didn't come together. She complimented my work on the characters, just like Nagi did, but she thought the drama I introduced in Chapter 34 of Eris's long-lost sister, Harmonia, was sloppily executed. In fact, I don't think Nagiko ever much liked the inclusion of Harmonia in Crimson Fantasia. She said Eris's relationship with her sister took too much attention away from her budding romance with Haru. As much as Nagiko liked Crimson Fantasia, she never called me a genius either, not like Nagi just did. I'm certain of that much at least. But am I imagining that? My head is starting to hurt again. I don't know what to think, but I do know despite my misgivings that something isn't quite right about this. Nagi's smile looks all of a sudden disconcertingly inorganic. The air above me begins to hum, as though full of 1,000 languidly buzzing insects. Reality seems to shift, to warp, and then... Okay, this is the same, so I'm gonna skip. Okay. Alright. So back over here, where we're getting a call from our cell phone. Nagi looks concerned and is, telling us to give it to her, which is already suspicious in itself. Why would she do that? You're saying, no distractions or whatever, but it's just a phone call, right? Why are you so worried about just a phone call? So instead of giving her our phone, let's answer the phone. I mean, it's normal thing to do, right? Nagi might not be very happy about this, but the continued buzzing of my phone is making me wonder. I like to discover who's calling me at the very least, so I can determine whether it's something important. What if it's one of my lecturers from university wondering where I am? Granted, that thought does make me feel a little sicker than I am already, I mean, but I don't think there's anything to be gained by avoiding this call. It's with this thought in my mind that I extricate my phone from my pocket and check who's currently calling me. I was hoping looking at the caller would shed some light on the situation, but... it's an unknown number. Oh, that's not very helpful. Probably a scam call then, but I might as well take it just to be sure. I accept the call, then press my phone to my ear and address them. Hello, who is this? I'm met initially by the low hum of static. I can't hear anything on the other end of the line, beyond a faint buzzing that sounds like flies, no matter how I try to strain my ears. Was this a waste of time? Hello? Hello, who is this? I try again, repositioning my phone against my ear as though this might help, and the moment I do, I hear it. Somebody's crying. Crying my name. Ayumu. Oh, please, Ayumu. It's hard to identify the speaker, given the call is modulated or static, but their voice sounds familiar. It's a female voice, that much at least I can discern. It's high-pitched and breathy, and it sounds stricken. Ayumu, please, wake up! Huh? What do they mean by that? Did I mishear them? The line's so bad that's not beyond the realm of possibility, but... I think that's enough of that. A frowning Nagi reaches out before I have a chance to formulate a reply and plucks my phone from my hand. I thought I was gripping onto my phone pretty tightly, but Nagi's able to wrest it from me without too much effort. Tight-lipped, Nagi looks down at the caller. She clicks her tongue. And then she hangs up. What a waste of time. Nagi stashes my phone in her own skirt pocket, then plants her hands on her hips. You shouldn't have answered that, Ayumu. I told you not to. You're in no fit state to talk to other people right now, and anyway, it's only upset you. What? But Nagi? I look at Nagi and my girlfriend uneasily. I can't see my own expression, of course, but can feel it twisting. I don't know who was calling, but they sounded really distressed. They were calling out to me. They told me to wake up. What do you think that means? Doesn't mean anything. It was just a prank. Don't pay it any heed. It was probably one of your friends at university, playing pretend. Goodness. People can be so inconsiderate. They must have too much time on their hands if they think teasing you is a good use of their time. I have half a mind to phone them back, give them a piece of my mind. But I don't want to give them the satisfaction. They don't deserve it. Well, let's not talk about this anymore. The less said about your so-called friends, the better. Other people are all annoying. Let's not worry about them, alright? Right. I'll try to forget about that then. Good. I'm glad to hear it. The matter of the mysterious caller settled. A giggling Nagi returns to her knitting. I watch her, my head propped up on my pillows, and Nagi manipulates her needle through her amorphous pastel creation. Clack, clack, clack. The sear sunlight which spills through my window catches on the edges of needles, so they seem to flash. The regular repetitive sound of Nagi's needles puts me in the mind of cracking bones. So much unease. Over half of our unease meter is filled. Nagi looks content though, poring over her knitting, but my own feelings of uneasiness remain. My stomach is churning again. What is going on here? I'm sure there's more to Nagi than what it might initially seem, something more beyond her cute pom-pom earrings and her sweet smiling face, but... Clack, clack, clack. I can't think of that. I can't think of what that something more might be. I don't know who she is, but maybe I'm afraid to know. I'm afraid to ask her. I don't want to hear the answer. I should just keep quiet. It's easier to pretend that everything's alright. Let the sounds of Nagi's knitting wash over me. Clack, clack, clack. And with sightless, unseeing eyes, I turn my attention back to the television. Let's just watch TV. Some time passes like this. I don't know how much until Nagi eventually sets her knitting down. She stretches, raising her slender arms above her head, and says, in a lilting sing-song, My, it's getting late. I must have gotten carried away. Nagi turns to look out the window, and as do I. I didn't realize it, being so engrossed in the TV screen and in the sound of Nagi's knitting needles, but the day really has flown by. It was a light azure blue beyond the panes of my window when I last looked, but it's not now. The sky is pitch black. I suppose it's true what they say. Time flies when you're having fun. Were you having fun? I would have thought you'd been bored out of your mind sitting with me all day. It can't have been that exciting. Oh no, Ayumu, perish the thought. Being with you is never boring. You're my boyfriend after all, and I love you a lot. How could I ever find your company dull? I was barely any company. We weren't even talking. Well, you don't need to. Being with you is enough to make me happy, silly. Huh. Is that so? If Nagi's telling the truth, then. You must have really low standards. Let's save... I don't remember. I guess we'll save. Sure. Every time we always loop back to just giving in to like her, her like desires. Sure. She really must love me. I guess she must love me an awful lot. Maybe I ought to trust her more. Now, Nagi stretches and rises, her black skirt shifts about her thighs as she smooths the fabric down absently beneath her paws. Her paws? She has paws now? No, her palms. I should probably prepare some dinner for you, dear. You must be starving. I didn't realize it until Nagi said it, but she's right. The rice porridge I had earlier is all the food I've had today. I should be a lot hungrier than I actually am. Let me see what you have in the fridge. Nagi heads off to the kitchen, her slippered soles impressing themselves almost soundlessly against the floor. I hear the sound of the kitchen door opening, and the faraway rustle of activity. I imagine Nagi standing by the fridge, bathed in its cool and unnatural light, one finger held to her chin and her brow furrowed in thought. What will she find in there? Is there anything to find? I can't remember the last time I went to the store. I'm surprised I had enough ingredients lying around for her to make that rice porridge. I mean, isn't it just rice and water? Man. A few moments pass before I hear the faint sound of the kitchen door slamming. Nagi must have given up on her search for sustenance, something which becomes readily apparent when she says, after materializing in the doorway, well, there isn't very much in the fridge, nothing at least I can really use. I think I'm gonna have to go to a convenience store. You don't mind waiting a little for your dinner, do you, Ayumu? Oh no, that's fine. I haven't taken a look inside my fridge in a while, but I can't imagine Nagi found much more in there beyond maybe a couple of eggs, some slices of plasticky cheese, and some expired vegetables. I've been living on cup noodles mostly for the last few months, those and rice crackers. It's not very healthy. You really can't go wrong with rice crackers, though they don't make for the most nutritious of meals. I'll try not to be too long. I don't like leaving you. You'll be alright on your own, won't you? I'm sure I will. You don't need to fuss, I'm not a child. I know you're not, but sometimes you can be so petulant. Am I being petulant right now? Well, maybe. We have to wait and see. Promise me you'll stay here, won't you? Be a good boy now. Yeah, I promise. Hey, don't you yeah me, mister. I'm saying this, because I care about you. Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm mad. Nagi's voice is light, but I can sense a threatening undercurrent beneath her words. She sounds very invested in making me stay here, more perhaps than a simple concern about my health might dictate. Does she really think I'm that frail? It's not like I'm gonna turn to dust the moment I step outdoors. I'm not a vampire. Or am I? Maybe that's the plot twist. As it turns out, we're a vampire. No, that's what I like to tell her, but something about her expression stops me short. It isn't the sort of expression I want to argue with. Right, I'll stay here. You promise? That's right, I promise. Good. I'll hold you to that. Don't forget it, Ayumu. If you lie, I might just have to make you swallow 1,000 needles. Very anime. Well, not anime. I mean, it's very Japanese rather, but it's a lot of like tropes from anime that comes from Japanese culture. About making a pinky promise, and if you don't, you gotta swallow 1,000 needles. Isn't that a little harsh? No, it's a fairly standard punishment, I think, as far as these things go. And in any case, you would deserve it. You might be my wonderful boyfriend, but I won't absolve you of all your crimes. Lying is bad, Ayumu. It's a sin. And lying to a cute girl like me is the biggest sin of all. Huh. Now that's an interesting way of looking at things. Does lying become more grievous an offense the cuter the person being lied to is? I have not heard that one before. I'll be off then now. Stay safe, darling. No, I mean, I think the idea, I think the origin of that actually comes from like being bad to like a cute person in the sense of like someone who's vulnerable, Like it's worse because you're doing it to like a more weaker person. But anyway, I will see you later. But of course, it's not like you're going to go anywhere. I'll be back before you know it. I watch as Nagi bends to put on her shoes. Her hair falls over her shoulder in the process, brushing her cheek. With her shoes on, she then stands, her pale, slender fingers curling around the door handle. The handle shifts, the lock clicks, and Nagi steps out into the hallway. The sound of the closing front door echoes through my apartment. It's low and dull, like an audible piece of punctuation. Audible piece of punctuation. That's all. That's pretty interesting. When you're saying that. Now that she's gone, I feel... Let's see if the game again. Let's say we feel a little lonely without our GF. Our supposed GF, anyway. We feel a little lonely. My apartment feels very dull and drab without Nagi to brighten things up. It's a bit chilly, too. I guess I've gotten used to having Nagi around. The company was nice enough for the most part, but I still don't have any memories of her. That being the case, can I really trust her? What should I do now? Should I sit here in bed like a good little boy, waiting for an inevitable, invariable return from the shop? Or would I be better served to try and stage an escape? Escape, I mean, we're sick, we're hungry, let's just wait. I think after giving it a bit of thought, that I'd be better off staying here after all. Why should I bother leaving, really, when I have Nagi? I'm starting to doubt whether she really is my girlfriend. Why would anyone be interested in me? But she doesn't seem to have any doubts on the subject. She seems very convinced that she's my girlfriend, and who am I to tell her otherwise? I promised that I would stay here, and I don't want to hurt her. What would be the point in that? It doesn't matter if this is a dream. Nagi has been far kinder to me than any real girls I know. I've only known her a day, but she's giving me so much love I'm already drowning in it. It's like that meme, I've only known this for a day, but if anyone hurts them, I'll kill them or I'll kill everyone and myself or something. Isn't that the meme? Anyway. I'm sinking, but I'm not yet at the bottom of this ocean. Perhaps there is no bottom. Perhaps love has no limits. I wouldn't know. I've never been loved before. Goodbye, unease. But I think I want to try it. I want to know what it feels to be adored. So I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to stay right here. Nagi will return in due course of all her shopping, just like she promised she would, and then she'll set about making dinner. I'm sure, based on our rice porridge, there'll be something simple and nutritious. Perhaps some sort of cream-based stew? The scent of Nagi's cooking will fill the kitchen, blotting out the faint underlying musk of mold that's been irritating my nostrils throughout my day. Then she'll call me to the kitchen, and then we'll eat together at the table. We'll talk to one another about nothing in particular, while our spoons scrape against our bowls in a discordant symphony. Perhaps I'll get some food in my lower lip. Perhaps Nagi will laugh at me, though not unkindly, not like my classmates did back in school, and wipe it away from me. Perhaps she'll kiss it away. I'm sure she would if I asked. I'm sure she'd do anything for me. She loves me after all, and I love her. She's too perfect not to. I don't know what happiness is really. But if I stay with Nagi, I'm sure I'll be able to figure it out. Alright, did another, fade out to black. Alright. Let's go back here. I want to see what this other option is. You know, she said, she's gonna do so much for us. I think she... Oh, is this the part where she mentions we're gonna go to a convenience store or make dinner or whatever she said. Let's just say, she must have really low standards. I know she's with us this entire time. I don't think there's anything special about me when I'm awake and alert, much less when I'm half asleep. Nagi must have some sort of agenda here. Either that or she's easy to please. I wonder which is worse. Okay, that didn't really do much. It's just another dialogue line about being suspicious. Anyway, so we skip that. And now she's left. She went to the convenience store and everything. Let's say we were relieved, actually, that she's left. In Nagi's absence, I find that I can finally breathe again. In her company, I found myself forever holding my breath, second-guessing her every remark or movement, without being aware that this was what I was doing. Sweet though she might be, I don't feel comfortable around her. I think there's more to her than what she's letting on, but I don't know what that might be. More unease. She might call herself my girlfriend, but how can that be? I can't remember spending any time with her before, and regardless of how sick I might be, it seems unlikely that my fever will be strong enough to completely obliterate all my memories. It's a pretty strong fever. It causes amnesia, I guess. The things she says aren't mapping onto the things I know. I have no idea how she got into my apartment, nor why she seems to know so much about me, but I don't know if I can trust her. I don't know if I can take that risk. I don't think I want to spend more time with her. What then should I do? Okay, now we have the choice again whether or not we should stay or should we leave. Well, obviously, yeah, we're gonna leave. We're not gonna wait for her. In fact, I was thinking, without context, I feel like, not assuming that Nagi has bad intentions. It's actually kind of irresponsible to let her go by herself, Such a cute girl by herself. She's gonna get murdered, You gotta go with her even if you're sick. Anyway, but no, we're just gonna leave. But did she say something about 1,000 needles if we lie? Oh well. I turned my options over in my head for a few months before, eventually, I come to a conclusion. I'm gonna have to leave. Something strange is going on here. From the persistent static in my television to the crying voice which called me on the telephone, and I want to figure out what it is. I'm not gonna make any headway on that if I do everything Nagi asks of me. She might call herself my nurse, but she's starting to feel eerily like a prison warden. That being the case, I have no choice but to stage a jailbreak. I throw my covers back, which feel a little damped. I think I must have sweated over them, gross, and haul myself to my feet. My legs feel weak, but they don't, to my relief, collapse beneath me. They're just about strong enough that I can support myself, strong enough to buoy me from my bedside and over to the kitchen. I push the door open, which cleaves to my touch with a creak, then step inside. The moment I cross the threshold of my kitchen, however, pain pierces my temple, and I double in on myself. My fingers fly to my forehead and I groan. What? My vision begins to blur. I blink. I'm not gonna pass out, am I? Is my fever really that bad? For a few moments I see, or I think I see, at least, the kitchen, or the way my kitchen ought to be. I see a sink piled high with dirty pots and dishes, some of which are cracked. The countertops are covered with crumpled, empty soda bottles and aluminum cans. The floor is covered in rubbish, so much so, I can scarcely see the fake wooden boards beneath it. Flies hum in the air, suspended on silvery wings which beat back and forth. There are flies in the sink. There are flies in the dustbin, which is overflowing. Dusty. One of them lands on my forearm, and I cry in alarm. I slap at the fly, but it evades me. It buzzes off, its wings beating back and forth with a droning hum. A dull pain throbs in my arm, where I slap myself and in my palm. I must have used more force than I realized. I blink and then... The world has reverted back to the way it was before. The countertops are clean, as is the floor. Everything is impeccably tidy. The plates and cups and dishes are all stowed away inside their respective cupboards. My kitchen looks wholly respectable again. It's the sort of kitchen not even the meanest, pettiest of landlords could find fault with. It's a tidy kitchen, indisputably, but it isn't my kitchen. It isn't what I remember. None of this is. The world is warping around me. Why does my head hurt so much? I stagger through the kitchen on uneasy feet, half expecting to step on crumpled pet bottles and strewn packages from convenience store food, and head towards the kitchen. My fingers, which are white and shaking, grip the edge of the sink for support. With unfocused eyes, I look down. There should be dirty crockery in here, but my expectations are once again betrayed. The sink is more or less empty, apart from the knife Nagi was washing earlier. She must have forgotten it. That was awfully clumsy of her. I eye the knife with some trepidation. I can see my own face reflected in its silvery surface. It almost seems to be goading me into taking it. Maybe I ought to bring it with me just in case. Just in case of what? I don't know. I feel so unnerved, however, a bit of protection would go a long way. This knife is quite long, though. There's no way I'd be able to hide it on me. Maybe there'll be a more inconspicuous weapon somewhere else in the kitchen. My eyes start here and there until eventually I spot a pair of scissors. These are scissors that are used for cutting meat. They're slotted neatly in a circular pot full of similar utensils, wooden spoons, tongs, and the like. These scissors are smaller than the knife. They should be easier to hide. I think they probably fit inside my pocket, or if push came to shove, inside the wristband in my trousers. What should I do? Okay, we have choices to take a weapon. I don't know. What's the right choice? Yeah, sure, let's take the knife. The classic knife, you know? The classic knife. The knife would probably be my best bet. Its blade is longer than the twin ones the scissors poses, and it's sharper. If Nagi would try to hurt me, not of course that I hope she will, the knife should help me fight back. I've never stabbed anyone before, but how hard could it be? I'm hoping to be fairly self-explanatory. My decision made, I turned my heels, and I approached the front door. Alright. I fully expected it to be locked. Why should anything in my attempted escape be easy? But to my surprise, the handle twists easily enough beneath my fingers. The lock clicks and the door, rather anticlimactically, opens inwards. I sigh, expelling a warm, feverish breath into the cool air. That was quite a surprise, but I'm not sure if it's wholly pleasant. If the door had refused to budge, that would have given me excuse to give up my attempted escape. I would have to take my future into my own hands. Sounds like quite a tempting thought, actually, surrendering myself to the votive hands of my sweet, doting girlfriend. But no, I can't let myself think like that. The door is open. Despite all the odds, that must be a sign of something, surely. It means I shouldn't stay here. It's time to face reality. Thoughts like this swirl through my mind as I stand there, at the threshold of my door, looking out into the hall. The hallway is dark, save for the strip lighting on the ceiling. These lights flicker ominously on and off. I can't see any windows. I don't know what the outside looks like. Just one long, endless hallway, beige walls and a brown floor. Fluorescent lights. Lights are too bright. My eyes are starting to hurt. My head hurts too. Retreating would be much, much easier, but I know if I did that, I would never be able to forgive myself. I squeeze my eyes shut and attempt to steady myself. I inhale. Then, I step into the hallway. The door of my apartment swings shut behind me with a dull thud, one that seems almost apocryphal. There'll be no turning back now. I pad down the hallway slowly, softly, my footsteps shy and shuffling. I'm grimly aware with every step I take that Nagi might return, my catch me trying to abscond. I look around anxiously as I walk. Doors pass me by, door after door after door, but they're all shut. The handles affixed to these doors look oddly sinister in the dark, and the lights which keep guttering on and off. They protrude from the smooth wooden surfaces of the doors like something violent. The light catches on these door handles, dozens and dozens of them, stretching on for infinity, and I shiver. It feels like the hallway's choking me. Where are the stairs? How am I gonna escape? Maybe I was a fool to disobey Nagi. I should have ignored her. She told me to stay inside for a reason. Now I'm starting to think that maybe this was the reason. She told me not to leave because I can't leave. It isn't an option. I want to turn back, but I don't. Instead, I continue to walk. My unease meter! I walk and I walk and I walk, until the backs of my feet rub against my shoes and it starts to hurt. My heart is hammering in my chest. I can hear it reverberating inside my skull. It doesn't stop me from moving though. I keep on walking. I walk and 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 I walk. And the backs of my feet are still rubbing against my shoes. It still hurts. My heart is hammering in my chest. I can hear it reverberating inside my skull. That doesn't stop me from moving though. 100% on ease. I continue to walk. I walk and 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 I walk, and the backs of my feet are really rubbing against my shoes now. It hurts a lot. My heart is hammering in my chest. I can hear it reverberating inside my skull. I still don't stop though. I continue to walk. I walk and I walk and I walk and I walk and walk and walk until I reach what seems to be a bend in the hallway. There's something different at long last. I must be making progress. I hurry onwards, hoping to find the stairs, to find a lift, to find something to help me escape from this nightmare. But like all nightmares, my attempts of escape are soon halted. I suppose I should have expected it. I think part of me did. I was just waiting for it. She is here. She's come to greet me. Her irises are cold and hard, like two stones pressed into her skin, and her lips are pursed into a line which betrays not even the slightest flicker of emotion. In one hand, she's holding a shopping basket, a cheap plastic thing, from which the Y-shaped head of a green onion protrudes. Ah yes, Miku's favorite food, green onion. It's such a cliche I could laugh. Nagi. I inhale. What are you doing here might be a more apt question, but it'd be a pointless one. I know what she's doing here. She's come to stop me from leaving. As for what her motives are, however, you have to ask? Nagi's voice when it comes is every bit as cold and hard as her expression, devoid of the cheery lilt to which I've grown accustomed to. I'm your girlfriend, Ayumu. I love you more than anybody else in the whole world. But right now, I think I hate you more than anybody else in the whole world too. Nagi delivers this without any emotion whatsoever. Her love and her hate are wholly dispassionate. She might as well be talking about the weather. You shouldn't be out here. I told you not to leave. I made you promise. You said you would stay put. Why didn't you? Do you want to upset me? No, that isn't it. And what is it? There wasn't any particular reason, really. I wanted some fresh air. It's an excuse, of course, and a blatantly obvious one at that. It's almost laughable, in fact, given how dark and featureless this hallway is, how utterly devoid of windows. This is a place that seems sealed off from the outside world. There's no fresh air to be had here. It's all shut up and stagnant. What a fool I am. Nagi takes a step forward. Her hair shifts above her shoulders. Her eyes bore into mine as quietly she says, I don't believe you. If fresh air was all you're after, then why did you take that knife with you? I gasp, as though surprised by my own actions, which admittedly I am in part. I had forgotten about the knife per se, but I had forgotten about its intended purpose. I took it from the kitchen as a means of self-protection. I meant to use it to... What? Debilitate Nagi if she's trying to stop me? I seriously mean to stab her? And I'd really do that? You shouldn't be walking around with that, Ayumu. You'll hurt yourself. Give it to me, please. Nagi's voice is commanding, like a school teacher's. She doesn't sound angry, but she doesn't sound like much of anything else either. Her voice is a void, just like her face, and this somehow is even more chilling than anger would be. At least I would know how to react to that. At least it would make her feel more human. No. I take an anxious step back, a nice handle clutched in my shaking hands. I can't give it to you. You can't. Nagi's eyes narrow. Or you won't. I mean, Nagi, what do you mean to do with it? I'm going to make dinner, silly. It'd be a shame to let all these ingredients go to waste, but I went out to buy them. I need something to eat, Ayumu. That's why you're acting out like this. You're hungry. It's out of you. Now give me that knife. I won't say anything more about it, or more about what you might have been planning, if you promise you'll be a good boy from now on. Won't you let me look after you? I look at Nagi worriedly, my eyeballs pulsating inside my skull. Is she offering me a choice? What should I do? Let's save the game. Sure, why not? This was all... you're not you when you're hungry, right? I guess I don't have much of a choice. There's no way I'll be able to fight Nagi off, she's just too powerful, I guess. I might be holding a knife, but it's functionally useless. I can't use this against her. I can't hurt her. How can I when she loves me so much? She must love me. Otherwise, she wouldn't be so determined for me to stay here, by her side. I've never in all my 20 years had a woman care about me quite this much. A woman who wasn't my mother, I mean. I used to dream about having a girlfriend, but these dreams never materialized. I thought I was destined to be alone forever. But that was before I met Nagi. Now that I have a girlfriend, why should I try to escape from her? Wouldn't I be better off succumbing? Besides, I am pretty hungry. Alright. It's on shaking legs that I approached Nagi and hand her the knife. I don't want to upset you more than I have already, so I'll go back with you. I'll lie down in bed like a good boy and you can make us dinner. Well, forget all this ever happened. If you think you can forgive me, that is. Oh, Ayumu. Nagi's face, which was once coolly impassive, now shifts. A gentle smile spreads across her lips. A smile as gentle as a field of sunflowers as she accepts my knife with her free hand. Of course I can forgive you. That's a simple enough matter. I do love you after all. And my love is even wider than the ocean. Is it now? That's rather impressive. Well, of course. I am a magical girl, remember? I'm not strong enough to save the whole world, but I am strong enough to save you. I can even save you from your own sadness. I can save you from yourself. I can save you from the miserable world you used to live in, which never once recognized your genius. So long as you're willing to stay with me. You won't try to run again, will you? I won't. You have my word. I like to take that at face value. But you said that last time, when I left the store to buy groceries. What makes this time any different? It's different because I don't see the point in it. Not anymore. It's true that I thought about escaping, but I can see now there's nowhere to escape to. I was walking down this hallway for ages, but it kept repeating itself. I don't think I'm any closer to finding the exit than I was when I left. Maybe there isn't one. It's like the whole world is telling me that this is a waste of time. So I'm not gonna bother anymore. I'd rather stay with you. At least you make sense. Well, I do my best. I'm glad to hear that at least. I was starting to worry you lost all sense of reason. I didn't want to have to punish you. So it's a relief you're able to make such a sensible decision on your own. Good job, Ayumu. You're really growing up. I'd pat you on the head if I could, but since my hands are both occupied. Nagi glances down at herself. In her right hand, she's still clutching her shopping bag, and in the left, she's holding the kitchen knife I bequeathed her. I guess I'll have to do it later, when we both get back inside. How's that sound? It sounds great. I'll look forward to your head pats and to your cooking. Head pat. I bet it'll be delicious. Well, of course, I'm gonna cook up a storm. It'll be a celebratory feast of sorts, because from now on, we're gonna stay together forever and ever. You like the sound of that, Ayumu? Only half an hour earlier, I would have cringed at that thought. That's why I tried to escape from Nagi in the first place. I didn't want to stay with her for more than a few minutes, let alone for eternity. I was mistaken, though. Why did I take against Nagi so much? She hasn't done anything to hurt me. In fact, it's quite the contrary. She's only ever tried to look after me. She really does have my best interests at heart. It's with a smile, therefore, that I say, without so much as a trace of irony. Yeah, I think I do. I like the sound of that a lot. Good, let's go back then. It's been a busy night, and you need your rest. You can lean on me if you want. Don't worry about anything else. I'm gonna take really, really good care of you. Until the world burns away around us, and everything disappears for good. It was totally not ominous at all. Okay, alright, good. Great, thanks. Hey, at least we don't have to swallow 1,000 needles.